Even in a world with no shortage of ridiculousness, the Mercedes-AMG G65, a 3-ton military vehicle crammed to overflowing with a 621 horsepower V12 and quilted leather, stands tall as an exemplar of absurdity. Give Mercedes its due for this accomplishment. What other entity could muster the resolve to produce a consumer product quite so insane? If Chrysler decided to cram a Hellcat V8 into the nose of a Wrangler, well, that might come close. But even Chrysler, which once produced the Plymouth Prowler, isn't quite that nuts. The other car companies aren't even in the game. In fact, the G65's only real competition for the title of most absurd of all the vehicles are other versions of the G-Class. G63 AMG 6x6, anyone? Bizarre as this stick-axle, flatwood shield nuclear brick may be, it is a vehicle that does actually exist, one that has been for sale in other markets, notably China, the Middle East, and Russia for a few years already. There are hundreds of these things elephant dancing around the world right now. It has proven relatively popular where sold, even if sometimes it appeals to those for whom traffic is an inconvenience as well as an occupation. Somehow, it's only now that America's Centurion card super users are getting the chance to plop down a probably depressingly small amount of their wealth on this, the most exclusive Mercedes troop carrier. We're not sure why Mercedes didn't just polish the whole vehicle. Take care to avoid scuffing the chrome brush guard with brush. So, we've now driven it and tested it and stared at it blankly for quite some time and can report that it is indeed a V12 powered G-Class. The V12 in question is the twin turbocharged, 3-valve upper cylinder unit that's been available in S-Class coupes and sedans and the SL convertible for years. It makes 738 pound-feet of torque. As with the other Mercedes V12 models, the G65's engine is mated to a 7-speed automatic. And, also like the other V12 models, it costs more than $200,000. Unlike the S-Classes and the SL powered by this engine, the G65 is available with a chrome brush guard and glowing alien green paint. Our vehicle showed up in a decidedly more tasteful mystic brown metallic color. We leave it to your aesthetic leanings to decide whether the highly polished 21-inch wheels are tasteful. They are apt with 29,540 Continental cross-contact ultra-high-performance all-season tires. These might be simultaneously the most overstressed and understressed tires on any passenger vehicle in the world. The 6,067 pound G65 can manage only 0.58 grams on the skid pad. Your dad's Plymouth Volare could probably have done that. The problem is not the tires, the insanely low figure is the fault of the hyperactive stability control system. Well, it's actually the fault of the ute itself. This is a 76.3-inch tall vehicle riding on a 59.1-inch wide track. Coke bottles corner with greater natural stability. Hence the G65's stability control has been given a level of authority that would make even Nurse Ratched envious. We do not impose certain rules and restrictions on you without a great deal of thought about their therapeutic value, the system repeatedly says. The side exit exhaust will limit off-road adventures, or at least make them more expensive. The engine bay won't hold a V16. On the road, the thing feels better than the numbers suggest. Considering that this 3-ton cube carries its weight higher than just about any other vehicle we've ever tested, including a 1915 Ford Model T, Mercedes has done a fine job limiting body roll. It should be terrifying to drive this with verve, but it's not. Just know that the heavy steering is comically slow and utterly without feel. The expansive dead zone at the center of the steering helps prevent kickback from hurting your thumbs during the off-roading excursions this vehicle is no longer equipped to take. The 3 rocker switches on the center stack for the 3 locking differentials come with their own warning sticker that might as well say, "Look, you don't need to know what these are for. Just move along." The downside of the actually sorta, kinda decent body control is that the G65 clumps and bounds along on choppy pavement as if it had 2 solid axles and exceptionally large, heavy wheels. But, if we haven't mentioned it earlier, the G65 has a V12 engine. It doesn't have as thrilling an exhaust note as the G63's twin-turbocharged 5.5-litre V8, which, by the sound of it, came from God's personal cigarette boat. It emits, rather, a low-pitched hum. Neither is the G65 as quick as the $78,000 less expensive G63. The V12 powered G trails the V8 motivated one by a few tenths of a second to 60 miles per hour, 5.1 to 4.8, and a few tenths in the quarter mile, 13.6 seconds to 13.3. But that's still pretty damn quick for a vehicle the shape of an outbuilding. And it will power on to a governed 140 miles per hour, if common sense doesn't convince you to back off at anything above 100. So what's the point? Beats us. But we will say that we understand that the appeal of the G65, or any G-Class model, has nothing whatsoever to do with reason or ease of use or comfort or ability or even performance. It comes from owning a sportute that was never designed for the mass market. Space efficiency and fuel efficiency and cost efficiency, those things that makers of mainstream vehicles obsess about and compromise for, are antithetical to a vehicle designed at the behest of the Shah of Iran. And, indeed, the G65 is abysmal by all 3 of those measures. Locking the doors sounds like 4 machine guns cocking simultaneously. Closing any of the doors sounds like slamming shut the entrance to a walk-in freezer. People will shake their heads in quiet disgust when you tell them the G65's price. But later they'll thank you profusely for letting them sit in such a special thing. It's so not like a Honda Pilot. That's its appeal. The G65 is, in fact, a huge, rolling, and figuratively highly polished middle finger to the uptight and the reasonable. For that we like it. But that does not make it a good thing.